When screening resumes for a journeyman electrician, firstly consider the years of experience. Look for candidates with at least 4 years of proven journeyman level experience in the electrical field. Secondly, licenses and certifications are crucial. Verify that the candidate holds a valid journeyman electrician's license in the state where you operate. Additional certifications, such as National Fire Protection Association 70 or Occupational Safety and Health Administration 30, are desirable. Thirdly, review the candidate's skills and ensure they align with your project requirements. Key skills include electrical code knowledge and interpretation, troubleshooting and diagnosing electrical systems, installation, repair, and maintenance of electrical equipment, and blueprinting and schematic reading. When screening resumes for a helper electrician, firstly focus on education and background. Look for candidates with a high school diploma or equivalent education with some basic electrical knowledge. Secondly, while not required, previous experience as an electrical helper or in a related field can be beneficial. Thirdly, assess the candidate's basic electrical skills, such as basic tool usage, assisting in electrical installations, cleaning, and maintaining electrical equipment. After the resumed screening process, conduct interviews with promising candidates to further evaluate their qualifications and fit for the role. Check references. Contact the candidate's references to verify their experience and work ethic. Consider running background checks on the candidates to ensure their reliability and trustworthiness. If necessary, provide training to candidates who meet the minimum qualifications but require additional skills or knowledge. Be clear about expectations. Clearly outline the roles and responsibilities of the journeyman and helper electricians before hiring. Provide a competitive salary and benefits. Research industry benchmarks to offer competitive compensation and benefits packages. Consider placing ads in electrician trade publications to reach qualified candidates. Attend industry events and connect with electrical contractors and organizations to expand your candidate pool. When evaluating experience, consider the types of projects the electrician has worked on. For example, has the journeyman electrician worked on commercial, residential, or industrial projects? Does their experience align with the type of work you need them to perform? Look for specific examples of how they have applied their skills to solve problems and improve efficiency on previous projects. For a helper electrician, consider if they have any experience with specific tools or equipment that are relevant to your work. Do they have experience with power tools, conduit bending, or wire pulling? Consider the candidate's problem-solving abilities. Can they think critically and troubleshoot electrical issues effectively? Ask them to describe a time when they had to solve a complex electrical problem. How did they approach the situation, and what was the outcome? Do they have strong communication skills? Electricians need to be able to communicate effectively with clients, contractors, and other members of the team. Look for candidates who can clearly explain technical concepts in a way that is easy to understand. Safety is paramount in the electrical field. Ensure that the candidates have a strong understanding of safety procedures and protocols. Ask them about their experience with lockout/tagout procedures, personal protective equipment, and other safety measures. Consider the candidate's work ethic and attitude. Are they reliable, punctual, and committed to doing a good job? Look for candidates who are enthusiastic about their work and eager to learn new skills. For a helper electrician, consider their willingness to learn and follow instructions. Are they receptive to feedback and willing to take on new challenges? After you have narrowed down your list of candidates, consider conducting a practical assessment to evaluate their skills in a real-world setting. This could involve asking them to perform a specific task, such as wiring a circuit or troubleshooting a faulty device. This will give you a better sense of their abilities and how they perform under pressure. Ensure that the candidates are familiar with the National Electrical Code, specifically its most recent edition. They should be able to navigate the codebook and understand the requirements for different types of installations. Ask them about their experience with grounding and bonding systems. These are critical for ensuring the safety of electrical systems and preventing electrical shock hazards. They should be able to explain the principles of grounding and bonding and how they are applied in different situations. Do they have experience with different types of wiring methods, such as conduit, cable tray, and direct burial? They should be familiar with the advantages and disadvantages of each method and know when to use them. Ask them about their experience with overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers and fuses. They should be able to explain how these devices work and how to select the appropriate size for a given circuit. Consider their knowledge of motor control systems. If you work with motors, the journeyman electrician should be familiar with motor starters, variable frequency drives, and other motor control components. For helper electricians, familiarize them with the different components of electrical systems. They should be able to identify common electrical components, such as resistors, capacitors, and transformers. They should also understand their basic functions. Consider their ability to read and interpret electrical diagrams. Electricians need to be able to understand electrical diagrams and use them to troubleshoot and install electrical systems. The helper should become familiar with different types of diagrams, such as one-line diagrams, ladder diagrams, and wiring diagrams. Also, assess the candidate's understanding of electrical safety. Electricians need to be aware of the hazards associated with electricity and how to work safely around them. Ensure the helper is familiar with basic safety precautions such as wearing personal protective equipment, using insulated tools, and avoiding contact with live electrical circuits. Consider the candidate's familiarity with testing equipment. Electricians use a variety of testing equipment to troubleshoot and diagnose electrical problems. The helper should become familiar with basic testing equipment such as multimeters, voltage testers, and continuity testers. Also, check if they are skilled in performing electrical calculations. Electricians need to be able to perform electrical calculations to determine the appropriate size of conductors, overcurrent protection devices, and other electrical components. Consider the candidate's understanding of energy efficiency. With growing concerns about energy consumption, electricians need to be aware of energy-efficient technologies and practices. Ask them about their experience with energy-efficient lighting, motor controls, and other energy-saving measures. Keep in mind local codes and regulations. In addition to the National Electrical Code, electricians need to be familiar with local codes and regulations. These codes may vary from state to state and even from city to city. Make sure the candidates are aware of the local codes in your area. Also consider the candidate's continuing education. The electrical field is constantly evolving, with new technologies and practices emerging all the time. Look for candidates who are committed to continuing their education and staying up to date on the latest developments. Also, assess the candidate's ability to work independently. While electricians often work as part of a team, they also need to be able to work independently and make decisions on their own. See if the candidates are familiar with project management. Electricians may be involved in project management activities such as planning, scheduling, and budgeting. The journeyman should have some experience with project management principles and techniques. Consider the candidate's experience with building automation systems. Building automation systems are becoming increasingly common in commercial and industrial buildings. Ensure the journeyman is familiar with the basics of building automation systems and how they are used to control lighting, HVAC, and other building systems. Look for experience in renewable energy systems. With the growing popularity of solar and wind power, electricians who have experience with renewable energy systems are in high demand. Ensure they have experience with installing and maintaining solar panels, wind turbines, and other renewable energy equipment. Think about experience with data cabling and networking. With increasing reliance on data and communication networks, electricians who have experience with data cabling and networking are valuable assets. Do they have experience with installing and terminating data cables, setting up network devices, and troubleshooting network problems? Also, check for experience with fire alarm systems. Fire alarm systems are critical for protecting lives and property. Ensure the journeyman is familiar with the requirements for fire alarm systems and has experience with installing, testing, and maintaining them. Make sure they have a strong understanding of electrical theory. Electricians need to have a strong understanding of electrical theory to troubleshoot and repair electrical systems effectively. They should be familiar with concepts such as voltage, current, resistance, power, and magnetism. Also, think about experience with instrumentation and control systems. Instrumentation and control systems are used to monitor and control industrial processes. Ensure the journeyman is familiar with the basics of instrumentation and control systems and how they are used to measure and control process variables. Also consider the candidate's experience with high voltage systems. Working with high voltage systems requires specialized training and experience. If you work with high voltage systems, make sure the journeyman has the necessary qualifications. Keep in mind their communication skills. Electricians need to be able to communicate effectively with clients, contractors, and other members of the team. They should be able to explain technical concepts clearly and concisely. Consider their problem-solving skills. Electricians need to be able to troubleshoot and diagnose electrical problems quickly and efficiently. They should be able to think critically and use their knowledge of electrical theory to solve complex problems. Also, think about their time management skills. Electricians often work on multiple projects simultaneously. They need to be able to manage their time effectively and prioritize tasks to meet deadlines. Keep in mind their customer service skills. Electricians often interact with customers directly. They should be courteous, professional, and responsive to customer needs. Consider their physical fitness. Electrical work can be physically demanding. Electricians need to be able to lift heavy objects, work in confined spaces, and stand for long periods. Make sure the helper is willing to perform manual labor. Electrical work often involves manual labor, such as digging trenches, pulling wires, and lifting heavy objects. Ensure the helper is willing to perform these tasks. Also, consider the candidate's mechanical aptitude. Electricians need to be able to understand and work with mechanical systems such as motors, pumps, and generators. Make sure they have a basic understanding of mechanical principles. In addition to the technical skills and qualifications, it is also important to consider the candidate's soft skills and personal qualities. Look for candidates who are reliable, trustworthy, and have a strong work ethic. Choose candidates who are team players, have a positive attitude, and are eager to learn new things. Remember that hiring the right electricians is critical for ensuring the safety and reliability of your electrical systems. By taking the time to carefully screen and evaluate candidates, you can find qualified professionals who will make a valuable contribution to your team.